Hey team, Angus Strachan here, and welcome to the Film Slice podcast in isolation once more. There is a super delay on our internet for some reason, so this is going to be great. I am joined with
welcome to the film.
Did
I get it on time?
Richards and Cane Dogs.
Hello.
How are we, boys? How's isolation?
Look, I worked a 10-hour day today. I don't feel isolated at all. I could do with a bit of isolation if I'm honest.
Oh, good. Birdman.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just chilling out. Just got an assignment due in 3 hours, but I'm doing this.
Good. Yeah, the more important thing in your life.
Yeah.
Than getting a degree that will eventually lead into a lifelong job and career.
No, he doesn't need a career. He's got this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is my retirement plan, guys.
Good.
Amazing.
Good. I'm glad. And on such a special week as well, because of course we are reviewing Extraction.
For May the 4th. Right. To celebrate May the 4th, we're doing Extraction.
Yeah. Man, if we recorded this podcast on May the 4th, it would have been great.
It is, in fact, May the 5th. But
May the 5th
you guys
be
wouldn't
with
know
you.
that. May the 5th be with you. Exactly. Yes,
Revenge
Extraction.
of the 5th.
Cane Dogs, you wanted to watch this film. You put the hat in the ring. So why don't you give us a quick summary of what the hell Extraction is about?
Okay, great. So it's Thor, but he doesn't have any powers, and he's also a military guy. And he's like a mercenary, and he gets hired to go and extract, boom, the name, a kid from basically like a mafia boss in India. And so he goes there and he gets the kid, and then he just John Wicks his way out of it. And that's pretty much the whole thing.
Good. Yeah, so I will just clarify now. It is the military term for extraction. Unfortunately, when I put this up on our Instagram at FilmSlicePod, one of the recommendations for the hashtag when I wrote in extraction was facial extraction, which of course is...
That's when someone comes in and takes your face.
Enjoy watching pimples being popped and everything. So just if you're Googling Extraction, make sure you put down the movie or Netflix or Chris Hemsworth.
Or at the very least...
maybe not even Chris Hemsworth.
At the very least,
that's probably not even safe.
If you're going to write Extraction, put 3 X's after it and just have a good laugh.
Yeah. Triple X Extraction.
Yeah. Which is what this movie should have been called. All right. It is, in fact, on Netflix, so we have all watched it very recently. It came out. Is this a watch or not, boys? Cane Dogs, watch or not?
Wait for streaming.
Wait for streaming? Classic classic gag there.
I think at the moment it's a watch, but under normal circumstances, I would have said not watch. So, lack of options... Watch this. There's nothing else.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Birdman.
Yeah, this is a bit of a timepiece at the moment. I'd go with that.
Timely. Yep. Yeah, I think you should. I think you should watch it. I think it's a bit of fun. There's nothing. It's not going to outlive the ages, this one, but
no.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun. If you got nothing better to do, just sit down, watch your dinner. And don't watch
Sit
Extraction.
down, watch your dinner. You try not to eat too much.
Yeah, that's my
Angus has been on a diet. He's really trying to watch his dinner.
Anyway,
the Angus diet. Just look at your food.
Imagine eating it.
Yes. So of
Still
course,
go through the process of making it.
This does star Australian star Chris Hemsworth. None other than Thor, mighty Thor.
Why do all these bloody Marvel stars keep doing shit films afterwards?
Oh man, yeah. Why would anyone do 3 months of work for like $2 million? I don't.
I know,
people.
right? I don't get it.
Don't understand them.
Cane Dogs, what other stars? Because at the moment it's just Chris Hemsworth, isn't it?
Well, Danny Jr.
Right.
did bloody Doolittle, and that film apparently was the worst thing ever created.
Jordan, that film did little. Come on.
It was right there. Maybe you can extract a pun for this one, Birdman. Hey, got him.
Okay. Nice.
We have fun here. We have fun here on the Film.
We have fun here, don't we?
Please add us. Yes, yeah. So it does star Chris Hemsworth in his Australian accent, and but it is kind of based mostly in India. There is one scene in Australia which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's a different one. I wonder if this was just released for Australian Netflix or whether it was released for
No, international.
Yeah, right. Because I know that like some things are only released for Australian Netflix because, you know, Americans don't really care about us.
Just because, you know, Americans.
Because Americans, yeah.
No, it was international.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. Well, I guess, you know, Chris Hemsworth being the star that he is probably makes sense. Before
Do you reckon his character is
spoilers,
Australian because that was how it was written? Do you reckon his character is Australian because Chris Hemsworth's from Australia?
that's a good question.
I think it was written for Chris Hemsworth in mind, and because of that, they would have added a lot more Australian things.
It looks to me as if it was written for Chris Hemsworth as well. So it's been written by Joe Russo.
One of the
Russo
Civil
brothers.
War and Infinity War writers.
Yeah, who directed Civil War.
Worked on.
So obviously it's that kind of crew. While we're on the crew, actually, Sam Hargrave is the director, and he's actually a stunt coordinator.
Yeah,
mostly.
I know. I heard that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's actually played Captain America.
Yes.
In a few of the things, which is a fun little tidbit for it. But it does kind of, you look through the crew and it is a lot of the the Marvel crew that have kind of put this together, which is kind of cool. It's nice to see them do something that isn't a superhero.
It's
movie,
also similar. It's also similar
kind
to
of like a superhero movie.
No, kind of. But it's also similar to the way that John Wick was actually written and directed by a stunt coordinator as well.
Yeah.
So the stunt coordinators of The Matrix wrote and directed John Wick, which is why the action's so good, and that translates, I guess, to this movie as well for the same reason.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it is kind of, you can't help but kind of put it up against John Wick in that kind of a sense. Sweet, before we get into the spoilers, the juicy parts of the film, Cinema Dicks. Anyone got a Cinema Dick?
I watched this by myself, and if there was a dick, it would be me, and I'm not a dick, so...
I watched it with Elise, and therefore there was no Cinema Dick. I also don't have a gun to my head. Also, she's great, and I smell.
Sweet. Yes, I also had no Cinema Dicks except for my housemate that kind of just didn't want to watch it with me. I'm like, do you want to watch Extraction with me? She's like, nah, I'm going to play Age of Empires instead.
Do you want to spend some time with me in this isolation? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, in a time...
The only other person you can spend time with.
In a time where we can literally not see anyone else, I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'd like to just also put in there, Elise just tapped me and said, you didn't watch this one with me. And I said, yes, we did. You didn't pay attention to any of it. You got bored. And she went, oh, that one.
That
one. Yeah.
Good. Sweet. All right, let's head into spoilers. Sound the alarm.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
Sweet. Lads, while we're at alarms,
While we're
it's time for what's in the mail. Oh, wait, I'm not going to say it. Mail. What's in the mailbox? Does anyone have anything in the mailbox?
I
no,
do.
and I'm bloody annoyed about it. I've been waiting to get on my microphone for 3 bloody weeks now. It's coming from, like, Sydney. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. What? Express delivery is like 3 days.
Waiting on a microphone.
I'm waiting on a microphone and
I-
it's not in my mailbox, and I'm annoyed.
Amazing. I got a message
Okay,
from my brother that just was a picture of our podcast from last week. And then it said, Alan and I are now going to watch Interstellar. I think you won the debate. So,
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes our brothers are wrong.
Sometimes our brothers have already watched The Two Towers in the last couple of days.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so nothing about Extraction. I also got nothing about Extraction. But
No.
if you are a slicey slicer and would like to write in on what we're reviewing, hit us up at FilmSlicePod on Instagram and Film Slice Podcast on Facebook, and send a message to Cane Dogs if you
I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
Please do.
just look him up.
Yeah, it's Jordan at canedogs.com. Send all emails and invoices.
At hotslicepod.com.
Sweet. All right, let's head into reviewing Extraction. You've been warned. Spoilers have been alarmed. It is your own fault if this amazing movie gets spoiled for you right now. Is it amazing? Well, we'll see.
We're already on spoilers.
Right now, we'll see right now.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay.
I feel like we usually do this earlier. Or this, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of
I liked it. It's an above average action film. You know, it's the kind of
all right.
It's the kind of action film where I'm like, you know what? I actually enjoyed watching this. It's not the best thing in the world. You know, it's no Peter Pan or nothing. But it was good.
Oh, Peter Pan,
And
the greatest action
specifically,
movie.
What was your most
Hey,
positive
people
part
like Peter
of the
Pan.
film?
People like Peter Pan.
And specifically, what was the most positive part of the film?
I'm going to say Chris Hemsworth's body.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is the,
Which I think has been a positive
It
of
has
yours
been
before.
a positive of mine before. I think it's my main positive for any film that he's in.
Yeah.
Brody's
that's fair.
Brody's brought
That's
that up
fair.
in
I,
every film.
I liked seeing Hellboy, and I liked the scenes between Thor and Hellboy. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Thor and
was,
Hellboy. They
David
were
Harbour.
very good. Of course.
Yeah.
Not the original Hellboy.
Shit one.
The new one.
Yeah. The awful one that no one saw and is terrible and flopped.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Yeah. I didn't mind that. While we're on Chris Hemsworth, I thought that he also I think he really kind of brought out his acting. He really kind of gave it, like, there's a few emotional scenes, and although, like,
a really
I guess the
strong
writing
and handsome
probably...
Australian. It was a tough one for him.
Yeah, he had to play a,
but like there
handsome
were
Australian
some like
bloke.
emotional scenes and like.
Really went
Anyway,
outside
that's
his
my
comfort
positive.
zone.
Cane Dogs, what did you think? Cool.
Look,
I'll just shit all over your positive then.
That's fine. I don't have many. I'm not actually intending to.
Cool.
The leg is making me
Good.
interrupt.
All right. Let's head on into the negatives.
The leg is making me interrupt. I'm not interrupting on my end.
No one gives a fuck about your positive.
Angus is getting angry by himself in his room, like 50 kilometers away from us. That's hilarious to me.
I will drive to your house.
That's fine. Come visit. I'm
I'll
lonely.
probably cool down before then, but
Bloody cold outside.
Angus, give us your positive. I didn't
is
realize I was
attraction.
interrupting. The leg has fucked that completely. Go on.
no, that basically was my positive. I thought Chris Hemsworth did a good job. I think he did well. Like, the story doesn't really kind of give him a lot to work on, but I think he brought his A game. I think he did a lot better than, what was the movie that he was an American soldier?
12
and he
Strong.
was like a special forces. Yeah, 12 Strong. I think he did a lot better than 12 Strong.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think he is maturing as one of those kind of, age-old action heroes. He's kind of becoming the kind of newer Tom Cruise
Bruce
or
Willis.
even like an Arnie Schwarzenegger, that kind of thing, like where you can just reel off action movies and majority of people will probably, go see it just for fun. yeah, I think he's really kind of growing into that, which is awesome. It's awesome to see an Australian do that so well as well. And to be able to be in a film where he can use his own accent and it's not weird.
Yeah.
I did kind of cringe at how many times he said mate, but also
That's what we do.
it is just weird. Like that's just how we talk.
Yeah.
But it's weird seeing it on screen in, this kind of
It's
like
also,
an international film.
It's also weird seeing someone doing a normal Australian accent whilst doing all that slang.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's an American that doesn't know how to do an Australian accent and does all that slang, and you're just like, it's like you're watching it and it's like an ice cream melting. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think it was cool. The Australian accent. Cane Dogs. What was your most positive thing about the film?
Look, as I said at the beginning, this film for me wasn't great, but it's at the same time, I think it's like one of the better action films we've had on Netflix. Like, as in like a Netflix original type deal or a straight to Netflix. It's certainly at the top of that list because there's not a great competition there. But in a cinema, I think I'd find myself trashing this a lot more. That being said, I think my favourite part about this film was, although he is like an action hero type guy and he's like, he's an expert at everything, I liked that they made the combat and a lot of it really messy. Like, he's in a country he doesn't know. He's in situations and dealing with like a certain level of politics that he doesn't understand. And like, I guess I liked that the combat, the action was messy in that, like, they weren't just clean. It was very similar to John Wick. Like, it was someone who knows what they're doing, but it's still a scuffle. I liked that, and I liked that it's one of those things where he didn't always have the answer. He wasn't just like this overly confident superhero character who just always knew what to do and where to go and was very decisive. There's a part in a car chase where he takes a wrong turn and he has to like back up.
Yeah.
And I guess I really like that because so often in these movies, in a car chase, whoever's driving, like the main character just always knows where to go. And I guess I really like that this accentuated that he didn't have all the answers. He was just doing his best, and that made him more relatable.
The scenes in
definitely.
the cars were actually like done
really good.
really well done.
And there's there's a scene there. Sorry.
They reminded me a little bit of the car scene from Children of Men. How they just kept like playing around. Children of Men is obviously does it, better than any other film has ever done that. But there was because it was like similar to it, and they did it well enough. It was like, oh, this is actually really cool. That reminds me of that scene from Children of Men. And it's like the camera's just in the car, and it just keeps like turning around, showing what's behind the car, what's in front of the car, and the side, and it just keeps going around. It's just like, oh, that's really, really cool. And it actually it made that scene like so much better. Instead of just having random shots from outside the car, seeing it drive from like right side to left side or whatever. It's just like so much more visually interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I did want to touch on that. There is this kind of one-shot scene, I guess.
It's not a real one-shot.
I didn't...
No.
Yeah. It's done like the same as like Birdman would have been done, where there's obviously kind of parts where the camera goes past something that
they did it
so
really well.
Hides cuts and everything.
I've got to say they did it really well. All of those hidden cuts.
Yeah, and it was
like we noticed that stuff because we're looking out for that stuff. But people who aren't looking out for that stuff, they did it so well to hide all those cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't know anything coming into it. Like, there wasn't anyone saying like, "Oh, have you seen Extraction yet? Like, have you seen that one shot yet?" Like, it was cool to just kind of get through half of the scene and be like, "Hang on a second, is this all a one shot?" And then you kind of focus on it and like it brings out. So I think which is really good. And I think that's the joy of having a stunt coordinator as the director is going, yeah, we can do this. Like, we can figure this out, and really
knowing how to direct the acting
shine. Yeah, 100%. And I think the stunts, same as John Wick, like all of the stunts look awesome, and it's not that kind of Bourne Identity where it's quick cuts and everything, and there's so much, movement. It's kind of hard to see what's going on. You see what's happening, and like people are getting stabbed, people are getting shot in front of the camera and stuff, and there's a lot of movement and everything, but not as much cutting, which is it's good. It kind of intensifies it.
Also, I guess
you really see
anyone listening to this, if you want a good laugh, take a moment out of your day to hop on YouTube and type in Taken 3 hopping over a fence. And all it is it's a shot from the movie Taken 3. It's an actual scene from Taken 3 where Liam Neeson's character is he just climbs a fence. That's the whole thing. But they did it in, like, they made it a quick cut. And so it's like 7 or 8 different angles and shots of just him climbing a fence. And it's amazing.
Intense.
It's the most intense climbing of a fence you'll ever see.
In fence.
It's an in-fence take.
It's in fence. Awesome. All right. Let's head into our most negatives, things that we didn't like about the film. I imagine we're all probably going to have similar ideas. But Birdman, do you wanna start us off?
Sure thing. I'm going to jump past CGI because one of you guys might take it and go straight into they could have just swam across the river.
Yep.
I mean, come on, guys, just go downriver a bit, swim across, walk a bit, get in the helicopter. You're done.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
You even think that it kind of alludes to it because, like, when we first meet Chris Hemsworth's character, he jumps into the water from really high and then spends ages holding his breath. I'm like, well, that's the answer, obviously, but no. Yeah.
That or
That's
just
amazing.
chill out in the city for a bit, until you can come up with a better plan. There's so much.
Yeah.
There's so many things. But yeah, what you gonna do? When
in a similar vein to that, right at the end, it was that kind of a moment where I was like, oh, why didn't you do that? Where he kills, like, everyone is in a tank. There's like a tank of like 5-6 people. Everyone gets out of the tank except for one person on the turret.
Get in the tank.
Everyone that got out of the tank, kills the person that's in the turret, and then puts a grenade in the tank just to be sure. Like, you've gone this far, just get in the tank. That's a surefire way to get through everything. Yeah. Okay, there are a few of those moments where you're like, you're not doing this the easy way.
Well, like also at the end where he's killed most people on the bridge and he tells the kid to run for the helicopter. And then he's like, I'll stay behind and fight them off. He waits there for a good 2 minutes before anyone else shows up. He could also just turn and run. Like,
just turn and run.
Absolutely, he could have made it out of that alive. And look, it alludes that maybe he did, but 100% he didn't have to stay on that bridge and then
and 100% he should be dead. He got shot twice.
Yes.
One in the gut, one somewhere else, and then he got shot in the neck, and then he fell into water,
and then fell into the water. If he didn't die straight away, he probably would have picked up a disease from the river. Yeah, like
so many
diseases.
And this is all with like a broken arm. Ugh.
Yeah, I am going to take that as my main negative, if you'll allow me, is the fact that they
dirty water.
They couldn't help but
do the Nick Fury
at
moment.
The end that maybe he was alive.
Yeah,
right at the end, I'm like,
I can't wait
it's coming
for John Wick 4, where Chris Hemsworth shows up from this film and just fucking just like,
Chris
yo,
Hemsworth.
John, it's me, your brother from Australia.
Yeah, it's me, Chris.
It's me, Chris.
Yeah, no, I
don't know why it sounds like that. We're all Australian. We could have just spoke normally.
Yeah, yeah, mate.
Yeah.
No, that was my biggest negative, and I knew it was coming, and it was so cliche, and I think it would have been so much better if he died, and they took revenge on the guy, but like what's done is done now, and they just alluded to it too much, and it was just too cliche for me, and it kind of ruined the ending. I'm like, I want him to kind of go down as like, this is what he wanted. Like all throughout the movie, you're like, he's got a death wish. He's got a death wish. I wanted him to end with finally, getting his death wish, but also getting kind of an honorable death, or like a warrior death kind of thing. And I think that they just kind of ruined it by having him in the background, and like there's no way that they can be like, oh, but was it him? Like, yes.
Boys, otherwise it's a weird ending.
An Indian,
and that kid's going to be kidnapped.
in India. Like, is the only big hulking white dude there. Cane Dogs, what do you got?
Yo, okay, so I've got two. I guess my first one comes from everyone has been comparing this to John Wick, and everyone's
John
been
Wick
like,
is so
is
much
it the
better.
new John Wick? And here's the short answer: no. But
John Wick will always be the new John Wick.
yeah, John Wick is the new John Wick. But one of the
Yeah.
main reasons that I think this movie doesn't come close to John Wick is the world building.
No Keanu.
This movie felt so generic, and so like the action was great. Outside of that, everything looked the same as I've already seen.
Yeah.
It was so generic. The bad guy was so generic. All the sub bad guys were all generic. The plot was generic. I thought Chris Hemsworth was fine for what he was, but his character was also just super generic. Just, I'm mopey and I lost a kid, or I lost my wife, or like it's always that, but it's just so generic. There's no world building in this at all. John Wick,
Unlike John Wick, where he lost a dog.
but in
He
John
lost
Wick,
his wife and his dog. And his car.
he lost his like.
Oh, so he lost two things.
But it's more. It's not about. It's not John Wick that makes John Wick interesting. It's the world building. It's the fact that we have this whole underground civilization and the mechanics of how it all works, and this sort of trust and exchange system between assassins. It's all of this stuff, and also the way the film is shot, so that it's all like, you know, it's blue and reds and neons and things like that to make the world look different and interesting. That this movie just, it didn't even attempt to make this movie look different. It didn't attempt to give us a villain that we're ever going to care about. It didn't attempt to build this reputation around Chris Hemsworth to make us feel anything. That's one of my main negatives. And I think...
Yeah, I guess on that, it is... I would assume that like this would be more based in reality. Like Extraction's definitely more based in reality, where
oh yeah, of course,
he's kind of an army soldier, as opposed to, I guess, John Wick's more of that kind of
it's hyper
almost comic book
stylized
style stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
of
I
course.
think the problem with that is that we've been seeing these movies since like the 50s
Forever.
or 60s or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So there's been a million of these. And that's why John Wick was good, because it was like actually brought something new to the table.
Yeah,
But this
exactly.
this is very, very much on the same line as every, like you said earlier, Arnie film, every, Harrison Ford film, all of these kind of like generic action films of the past, 20, 30 years. And it's just like, so it does feel very same. It does feel like they could have very much have gone down the road of getting, Gerard Butler. Or,
They could have, this feels like it could have been a discount Gerard Butler film, easy. The only thing that makes this film a higher tier is the action. That's it for me. And that brings me to my next negative, which is that every character outside of the kid, and even the kid, but every actor outside of the kid and Chris Hemsworth was the most generic, boring, recycled character. I liked seeing David Harbour because I like the actor, but his character of just, you can trust me, we're old military buds. I'm just
like
going to
Call of
sneak out.
Duty-esque.
But it's just, just, if it wasn't David Harbour, that character would be the most generic, like, if you didn't know that actor, and it was just that scene of him being like, yeah, stay here, it's safe, I'll give you a safe house, we're old buds, I'm going to sneak out, don't ask questions, I'll be back in a couple of hours. Like, it's just so... everything. The bad guy, the assassin that's at the beginning, who's kind of not an assassin at the ending, like the guy that's sent to sort of kill him that turns out to just be a good guy somehow or whatever. And so it's one of those things where if the action wasn't good, this movie would be the biggest piece of shit ever. Like, it'd be up there with those Gerard Butler films. I feel so bad about Gerard Butler. He's not the problem, but he's just done a lot of shit films.
He kicked ass in 300, and in 300, that is his actual body. That's how ripped he got for that movie.
What a man.
Yeah.
What a man.
What a mighty good
I
man.
guess we'll end it on Brode admiring yet another
body.
well-defined actor.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't
sweet.
admire Gerard Butler's body in 300. I don't know why. I don't know why you're alive.
Props to him. Props to him. Yep. Film / tick of approval to Gerard Butler for 300. Boys, any recommendations for our ISO listeners?
I've started. Go on, Brody.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I've started re-watching True Detective season 1, and it is still awesome.
With
Absolutely excellent.
Woody Harrelson and
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
I'm just recommending Matthew
good.
McConaughey things. Also,
Birdman,
check out
what
How to Get Rid of a Guy
radar?
in 10 Days or whatever.
Or whatever. Is that really what it's called?
Whatever.
How to Get Rid of a Guy in 10
it's
Days
called.
or whatever. Are you talking about how to lose a man in 10 days?
Look, maybe.
What about Wolf of Wall Street? He makes an appearance in there.
Yeah, the Lincoln Lawyer.
Wow.
Fool's Gold.
Wow.
Another classic rom-com with him.
Magic Mike.
Mud. I think Mud was good. Mud was a good film. I'm going to recommend The Fugitive. It's on my list. I'm going to watch it tonight or tomorrow night. Harrison
Good
Ford
film.
classic. It's on Netflix right now. And I am so pumped to watch it because I haven't seen it in probably a good 10 years.
Nice one. I'll put on the list. I think you guys should watch Interstellar. I've finished watching Lord of the Rings now.
Nah,
I guess
shit
as
film.
A good kind of second tier film to that. Interstellar.
Before you watch that, you should really watch the Dark Knight trilogy, though, because it's the best thing that Christopher Nolan has ever done.
Awesome. All right, we'll leave it there. Make sure you hit us up at Film/Pod on Instagram, Film/Podcast on Facebook. Send a message to Cane Dogs. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for another movie review. Thanks, boys. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.